Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Joana Daniela Mejia, and this is my ID card. Today I'm going to show my graphic organized. This is my graphic organized about the grammatical devices. Mm, well, there are some elements that must be considered at the time of forming text and discourse, such as using appropriate clauses and sentences structures. In this presentation, I am going to show the difference between uh, the grammatical aspect, the tense, the voice, um, different kind of grammatical devices. Okay, first, I am going to show the grammatical aspect. Well, um, the grammatical aspect refers to the form verbs might take in different types of constructions. It's important to understand that verbs play a very important role in aspect. That is why we need to understand about the difference between stative no action and dynamic action verbs. Um, the simple the subdivisions of the grammatical aspect are three: the simple, the progressive, and the perfect. The simple, it consists of the verb stem considering the person used as subject. It could be singular or plural. Therefore, it determines if the verb should be infected by using the s or es. It depends if the verb is in the third person or the first person or something like that, or the present or in the present, or the past of if the verb is in the past. Many regular verbs and with ed or different irregular verbs. For example, there are two kind of examples as you can see in this picture. Carlos cooks very well. As you can see, this the simple aspect of the present, and the verb ends with s because it's in the sentence is in the third person. Um, um, the second one is Carlos cooked very well, and this is the simple aspect of the past. And as you can see, the verb is in the regular form. Okay, this is the simple aspect. Okay, the progressive aspect. Okay, this is formed by verb phrases that include the verb plus verb ing. This the gerund. It occurs in continuous actions in present, past, or future. It's important to mention that the progressive aspect does not refer only to the time and event. Um, um, it also shows how the speaker received an event, ongoing, temporary, or a complete and permanent action. As you can see in these examples, for example, Juan is playing the violin. This is an ongoing action. Or Juan is playing the violin very well. This is a complete action. In other words, he performs better now. Okay, in the in the grammatical aspect, we also have the perfect aspect. We have different types of the perfect: the present perfect, past perfect, and the progressive. And the present progressive. The present perfect is used for actions that began in the past and continued in the present. For example, or is the time when the action happened is not directly specified, but sometimes the lapse of time is implicitly shown. For example, is using, for example, I have played the violin for 5 years, or she has practiced diligently to improve her skills. As you can see in the present perfect, we use the auxiliary have or has. It depends if the sentence is in the plural or singular, or the third person or the second person or something like that. And it's important to remember that in the present perfect we use the verb in the past progressive. Okay, the past perfect is for actions is for actions that happen before a past event. Indicates which happened first and second. For example, before dinner I had cleaned my room. As you can see in this example, the past perfect, the auxiliary has is in past. The past of had the past of have is had. I had cleaned my room, and by the time they arrived, I had already left. We also use the past perfect with conditionals, as you can see in this example. The conditionals have two sentences in the same in one sentence. Um, if I had, if Anna had saved some money, she would have bought that beautiful house. This conditional. If Anna had some money, a lot of money, she would have bought that beautiful house, or she would have bought different things that wanted. She wanted to buy. Um, eh, it's important in this aspect. There is also the present progressive. Is the action that began in the past but continues in the present. For example, I have been working since 1998. Okay, continue where I continue with the presentation. It's important to understand the tense. This is the second grammatical device, that is tense. To understand time, it is important to have in mind that we use of inflectional affixes added to some verbs that determinate the time when an action occurs, the infinitive verbs. Well, in the present pairs and in the tense, we have three important subdivisions that are present, past, future. The present, it is used for events that happen regularly as habits, routines, schedules, or are well known as such as universal truths and facts. For example, Luisa usually arrives early. Arrives early. It's an habit, or something like that. My grandma wakes up at 4 a.m. Is a routine that you do all that you do in different days. Julie loves to study English. Is a fact of a person. Um, it's important to understand another use of present tense is the performative actions with the performative verbs like promise, sentence, pronounce, command, or something like that. For example, I promise to pay you back next week. Um, this is more common, the performative use. Okay, the another subdivision is the past. Is used for events or actions that have already been concluded at a specific time in the past. That actions that conclude in the past. For example, I ate a delicious pizza for lunch yesterday. As you can see, the verb we have an irregular verb in this sentence that is ate. That is ate it. Um, um, the second one is they walk in park last evening. We have in these sentences we also use a verb, but in this case the verb is a regular verb because we add the in the we add the in the verb the ed. And another subdivision of tense is the future. Um, there are constructions with the auxiliary will or going to. This is used for events that have not taken place yet. For example, Carlos will be a good English teacher. And we are talking about the future in these sentences. Rosa is going to buy a new car this year. Or another example is she is going to study business this year because she is not studying business yet, but are going to she is going to study business this year. This is the future. Okay, the another important grammatical device is the voice. In voice we have different types like active voice, passive voice, and middle voice. Okay, the active voice, the voice it refers to the different constructions available for taking an event or state presenting from different perspectives, like as I'm going to say the active. The active focuses on the person acted who does an action. In active voice, the subject performs the action. For example, when the subject performs the action, the chef prepared a delicious meal. Or another characteristic of the active voice is direct and clear. The company, for example, the company launched a new product. Or it's important they understand the active voice is concise and clear. The teacher explained the concept to the students. The another type of voice is the passive voice. In this aspect, in passive constructions, refer or give emphasis to the noun phrases who receive or are affected by action. For example, subject received an action. For example, a delicious meal was prepared by the chef. Or the passive voice also emphasizes on action or result. The concept was explained to the students by the teacher. Okay. The another important type of voice is the middle voice. The middle voice has some specific characteristics that combine both active and passive voice. Okay, the middle voice subject is both doer and receiver. For example, he taught himself to play the guitar. Or inform reflexive or self-involved action. She enjoyed herself at the party. Or implies self-initiated action. For example, the door closed by itself. This is the voice, active, passive, and middle voice. It's important to understand the grammatical aspects, tense and voice, the different grammatical aspects, tense, and voice are very important for effective communications and the language comprehension. Um, because it's important for the clarity in communication. Um, for example, grammatical aspects such as a perfect or continuous form helps convey the temporal structure of actions, and tense indicates the time and action, allowing speakers to communicate with something that happened. Um, this clarity is essential for effective communication, ensuring um, a communication that help the listeners or readers understand the sequence or duration of events, or understand in a better way how to communicate different ideas. Um, um, it's important to understand these grammatical devices. Um, um, for example, tense and aspect contribute the narrative cohesion, and this proper use maintain a logical sequence of events, enhancing the coherence of flow of the history of of different conversations that we have in English. Because if, for example, um, uh, these kind of grammatical devices help us to understand how the English language works. Because if we don't understand how the language works in different contexts, we can um, don't share our ideas in a proper way. Um, and this was my presentation of this graphic organized about the grammatical devices. And thank you so much, Professor, for your attention.